Alright, so I've got to tell you guys about something that happened to me that completely changed how I see reality. And I know that sounds dramatic, but stick with me here because this gets wild. So picture this. It's a rainy Thursday night in Seattle, and I'm sitting in this sketchy 24-hour diner. You know the kind. Fluorescent lights flickering like they're about to give up on life. Coffee that tastes like it's been sitting there since the Clinton administration. I'm basically at rock bottom. And that's when this guy walks into my life. I still don't know what to make of him. He looked like he could be 40, could be 60, one of those ageless faces, you know. But his eyes, man, his eyes look like they'd seen some stuff. Like he lived multiple lifetimes and was just observing the rest of us trying to figure it all out. So let me back up and give you the full picture of how much my life sucked at this point. By the way, I'm an MIT grad, computer science, thought I had it all figured out. I was working at this tech startup, putting in 80-hour weeks, thinking I was building something amazing. Then boom, company folds overnight, just like that. You know what's crazy? That was just the beginning. My girlfriend left. Apparently watching someone spiral into unemployment isn't super attractive. My savings, gone. My confidence, completely shattered. For 8 months, I'd been getting rejection email after rejection email. I actually kept a spreadsheet tracking all my rejections. I called it Reasons Why I'm Unemployable. Looking back, that probably should have been my first red flag about my mindset, right? So there I am in this diner, down to my last $247 in change, rent due in 6 days. I'm talking to myself, which, let's be honest, was pretty much my only conversation partner at that point. And I'm like, maybe I should just move back to my parents' basement. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. That's when this stranger turns to me and says, "Young man, you've been programming computers for years, but have you ever considered programming reality itself?" I swear down it felt like some Matrix Morpheus shit. I mean, what do you even say to that? My first thought was, who the hell are you and how do you know I'm a programmer? But like he could read my mind, he said, "I've seen you in here months on end creating more and more misery to yourself like it's a hobby." Honestly, at this point, I was like, I must be lucid dreaming. Where's Trinity at? But all jokes aside, something about the way he said it. There was this certainty, this knowing quality to his voice. So I bite. I'm like, cool, I'll take the red pill. So I say, okay, I'll play along. What's the difference between code and consciousness? And he gives me this deep smile, like he's mastered pain and struggle. And he goes, code is instructions. You input commands, and the system responds. Consciousness is the ultimate programming language. Every thought you think, every meaning you assign to your experiences, these are commands being executed by the universe itself. Now, my engineer brain is immediately like, nope, this is mystical nonsense. But he keeps going. He's like, your subconscious mind is the most sophisticated computer ever created. And for 8 months, you've been running the same destructive program. In my head, I'm going, how does he know it's been 8 months, but I don't say it? And then he asked me this question that just, it hit different. He goes, when that first rejection email arrived, what did you tell yourself? First, I'm thinking, how does he know all this, man? But then I'm thinking back, and I'm like, I thought maybe I needed to improve my resume. He goes, and when the 10th rejection came, I say that maybe I wasn't as good as I thought. And by the 50th, he says, at this point I could barely get the words out. I'm welling up. I say that I was unemployable. The guy nods, like he's seen this movie 1,000 times. There it is. You've been programming yourself for failure, one rejection at a time. You've been running a script that says, I am not worthy of success. And reality has been faithfully executing that program. I'm still fighting it at this point. I'm like, but rejection is rejection. Facts are facts. And this is where he says something that still gives me chills. Facts are interpretations. Reality bends to the meaning you give it. Something about that moment. I don't know if it was desperation or curiosity, but I felt my resistance crack. Maybe it was because I had literally nothing left to lose. So I'm like, okay, hypothetically speaking, how would someone reprogram their reality? His whole face lights up. Now you're asking the right questions. He pulls out this old leather journal. And when I say old, I mean this thing looked like it belonged in a museum. The pages were yellowed, and it had the smell of, I don't know, old wisdom. Is that a thing? Tell me, he says, what would your ideal outcome look like? I close my eyes, and for the first time in months, I let myself actually dream. I want to work for a company that values innovation. I want to make at least $127,000 a year. I want to feel confident again. I want to wake up excited about my work. Good. Specificity is power, he says. Here's what you must understand. Your subconscious doesn't judge your commands. It only receives them. For 8 months, you've been telling it, I am rejected. I am not good enough. I am unemployable. It has faithfully created a reality matching those instructions.
And this is where my engineer brain finally clicks in. I'm like, so if I change the input, you change the output! He confirms, and it made total sense. It's so simple. I was like, why have I never been taught this before, you know? Now, I gotta tell you about this guy because he was otherworldly. Like literally. The shadows seemed to bend around him. His coffee never got cold. And there was this faint scent of sandalwood that just followed him around. I finally ask him, who are you? He laughs, and it sounds like distant thunder. He says, I'm that with no name, that just is. And tells me this incredible story. When he was like 23, he was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Had everything society told him he should want, but felt completely hollow inside. One night during a brutal board meeting, he had to fire one of his best friends. And that friend eventually ended up taking his own life. And he had what he called a spiritual crisis. Just walked away from it all. Spent 4 years traveling, trying to make sense of life. Then eventually came across some backpacker who called themselves spiritual seekers, and they gave him a book that changed his whole perspective. He started studying with mystics and philosophers, learning that consciousness isn't produced by the brain, it's the fundamental fabric of reality itself. That what most people call life is actually a collaborative hallucination shaped by our collective beliefs. I'm completely transfixed at this point. I'm like, and you can teach this to others. He nods and says, I'm writing the exact book as we speak, and opens his journal. Pages filled with handwritten notes in multiple languages. The process is simple, but requires absolute commitment, he says. First, you identify the specific programming currently running in your subconscious. Then, you consciously install new programming that aligns with your desired reality. He looks me dead in the eye. Every morning for the next 7 days, you will spend 10 minutes in meditation. First, empty it of your thoughts and get relaxed as if you were ready to go sleep. And when you reach this state, you will repeat these exact words. I move through life with ease. Solutions come naturally to me. I'm valued for my unique gifts. Companies compete for my talents. I'm frantically typing this into my phone. Just words? His expression gets serious. Words are the building blocks of reality. It even says in the Bible that God spoke us into existence. Your subconscious accepts as true whatever the conscious mind impresses upon it. But here's the crucial part. You must feel the truth of these words. You must feel it. You must enter the state of being that these words describe. So I practice right there in the diner. Close my eyes, and something extraordinary happens. With each repetition, my posture straightens, my voice gets stronger. I can feel something shifting inside me. Hope? Maybe confidence? I hadn't felt anything like it in months. I opened my eyes. He was gone. The transformation seemed to be working. For days I followed his instructions religiously. Morning meditation. I felt so good doing it, I even started doing it in the evening before sleep. Programming my subconscious with empowering beliefs. I approached my job search with renewed energy, but instead of desperation, I carried this quiet confidence. Then disaster struck. I'm 2 weeks in and overdue rent. I get a call from my dream company, this cutting-edge AI startup that seemed perfect. After 3 rounds of interviews, they offer me a position, but when the paperwork arrives, the salary is $89,000. Way less than my target of $127,000. I feel happy that I've got something, but I'm deflated at the same time, you know? I call my best friend and I'm like, it's not worked exactly how I thought. I followed everything exactly, but I'm still not getting what I programmed for. Maybe this stranger was just a delusional old man. Maybe I'm the fool for believing in magical thinking. I could feel all the old programming coming back. The doubt, the self-criticism, that familiar voice saying, I'm not good enough. 8 months of conditioning couldn't be overcome by a couple weeks of positive thinking, right? I'm gonna accept the lower offer, I tell my friend. At least it's something. At least I won't be homeless. But that night, I'm sitting in my apartment, staring at the unsigned contract. $89,000. It was good money, but it felt like settling, like accepting that my dreams were too big for my reality. I'm thinking about the stranger's words. Reality bends to the meaning you give it. What meaning was I assigning to the situation? That I wasn't worthy of my full asking price? That I should be grateful for whatever scraps the universe threw my way? The apartment felt smaller that night. The walls seemed to close in as I contemplated a future of compromise. I thought about calling the stranger. Then realized I didn't even have his contact information. Had I dreamed the entire encounter? As midnight approached, I made a decision that would change everything. Instead of signing the contract, I closed my laptop and spoke aloud to the empty room. I am worth $127,000. I will not accept less than my true value. If this opportunity isn't aligned with my worth, then a better one will come. It was pure faith or pure delusion, choosing to trust the programming despite the apparent evidence of its failure. 3 days later, just as I come off the phone to the landlord, explained to him my current situation, my phone rings. It's the CEO of the AI startup, personally, calling to apologize for the confusion. Our HR department made an error in the salary calculation, he explains. We've been so impressed with your interviews that we'd like to offer you our senior developer position at $134,000, plus equity options. I nearly dropped the phone. The CEO continues, we've actually been looking for someone with your exact skill set for months. We're prepared to make this a very attractive offer because we believe you're exactly what our team needs. It was almost as if he was panicking that he'd lost me. When I hung up, I felt something I'd never experienced before. Not just relief or happiness, but a deep understanding of my own power. I'd learned that reality truly does bend to the meaning we give it. That external circumstances are projections of our internal states. 3 months later, my life had completely transformed. I loved my work, my confidence had returned, I'd started dating again, but more importantly, I'd learned to see myself as the programmer of my own reality rather than a victim of circumstances. So now when things happen in life that don't resonate with me, I simply don't react. Instead, I'm like Control, Enter, Delete,
You know what I'm saying? The stranger's words had proven true. Reality does not happen to you, it unfolds through you. I had learned to consciously program my subconscious mind with empowering beliefs, and reality had rearranged itself to match those new internal convictions. Look, I know this sounds crazy. Trust me, my engineering brain fought this the whole way. But what I experienced wasn't magic. It's the fundamental principle of how consciousness shapes reality. Every thought you think and every meaning you assign to your experiences becomes a command to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't judge these commands. It simply accepts them as truth and begins creating a reality that matches those beliefs. For 8 months, I had been programming myself with thoughts like, I'm unemployable, and I'm not good enough. And my reality faithfully reflected those programs. The craziest part? I never saw that stranger again. Sometimes I wonder if he was real, or if he was just the universe's way of delivering exactly the message I needed to hear at exactly the right moment. Either way, I'm grateful, because now I know that we're not victims of circumstance. We're architects of our reality. And that, my friends, changes everything.